Welcome back, GRD 121, to Halloween Flyer, our part 5, our last part, hopefully. After working with text in part 4, we're going to work with graphics in part 5, and I think you're going to have some fun with this. What I'm going to do here is close up my text, because I'm not going to do anything with my text right now. You could even lock the whole folder if you want to, if you don't want to mess with anything right here. And you can lock your woods, you can lock all this stuff, so you're not really messing with it. And we're going to put some other graphics in here. We're going to make a layer above it. So I'm going to go on my text layer. Hopefully we'll make some layers above it and we'll bring in some graphics. And we'll start with something real quick. We'll put in a little moon up here. So I'm going to zoom up to the top and I'll go over here to the corner and I'll hold my space bar and just kind of move over here. And I'm just going to make a circle, make an ellipse. And if you want to make it like a little more of a yellow color or something, you could go in here, make it yellow and even maybe a grayer yellow or something like that. You could do something like that. And we're going to make this a moon. If you want it more of a moon that looks like a crescent moon or something like that, you can just do a duplicate, or you can do a drag copy, hold down your Option or Alt key and just put that in front like that. So you have two of them and then select both of them. Select both of these ellipses and you don't have to convert them to a path yet. You can go here and do subtract. And then you get that shape there. And then if you're happy with this shape, just convert it to a path. And then you'll just have one path and you could just call it moon. And then we could put like a witch in front of it or something like that. And you might say, oh man, we're going to trace a witch. This video is going to be like 3 hours long. No, it's not. But I'm going to throw a witch up here. You might say, well, where are you getting a witch from? Well, go on the web. And I'm going to search. And it's important that you search silhouettes. That'll be easier. I'm just going to type witch silhouette. Because if you don't, you'll just get pictures of witches. So I'm going to get a witch silhouette. Now I just want to find one of these. And I could go on images here. There's a nice one. Try not to do anything that has too many internal shapes and stuff. This one's okay. And you could always flip them around. I guess that looks okay. Let's see, this one has less detail. That looks okay. And I'm just going to copy it. I'm just going to right click and say copy image. That's it. And then I'm going to go back here. If you do this, if you do edit paste, you get this message, like security permissions. It doesn't let you do that. You just have to use your keyboard. You have to do Command V or Control V. And there it is. Now, this thing that's here, it's going to be an image. It's a bitmap image, and you just copied and pasted it. So I'm going to zoom into it here just a little bit. And we don't want any of this stuff down here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to trace this. And they have like an Autotrace feature. And you're going to use Modify, you're going to click on this, make sure you click on your image and go Modify Vectorize Image. And it's under Path, Vectorize Image. Now you're turning into a vector. And what it did, let's see what it did here. It actually traced it. Now, we may have a problem here because it may try to trace this text down here. There it is. Let's see if I can move this around. That looks okay. I'm getting some inner shapes there. Let me see what that looks like. That looks okay. And let me click this thing and hit delete. And I'm getting all these little shapes here. And what I'm going to do to get rid of these, maybe there's a better way to show you this, but I'm going to take my subselect tool and I'm just going to highlight all this stuff over here and hit delete. And then highlight these and hit delete. So any of these kind of stray things that are here, I'm going to hit delete. And there's different ways this will show up, so I'll try this different ways, but I think that looks okay. So it's basically a vector path right now. And if you're not sure if it's vector, always go to outline view, and there it is, it's vector. So it definitely vector, and it did it automatically. You didn't have to trace anything. And because it had text on the bottom, that was a little bit of an issue, but I think we're okay with that. And we'll try this a couple times and see what kind of situations we run into here. Now I'm going to just move this over here. Now it's still saying a group, and again, if you have more issues, you can kind of ungroup it. But I'm going to just put it here in front of my moon and see how that works. And that looks okay. We got a little witch. It doesn't have to be really big or anything like that. A little witch in front of the moon. I guess looks all right. I guess it would have been better if I left the moon circular, but that looks okay. We got a little witch there. So there's a little witch, and maybe I'll bring in my bats. So I'll go here, I'll copy one of my bats. I'll just do a Command C. If you're on Windows, do Control Z, and I'll go back to my flyer here, and I'll paste this thing. Now it's gigantic, So I want to just scale it down, and you could hold shift to do it in proportion. And I'll zoom in here. And you throw some bats on here. They don't have to be really big or anything. You could rotate them, you could put them at, you know, different angles, stuff like that. I'll just do that, and maybe I'll do one at the bottom just to kind of create some flow. I'll do one over here, and I'll just drag copy this one, and I'll put this under here, and maybe I'll rotate this the other way and make it a little bit smaller. And that looks pretty cool. And then maybe you can make some small ones out here just so they look like they're off in the distance. Some little bats there. Put one down here, rotate it the other way. You know, just little stuff like that. Not too much. You don't need to go overboard with this kind of stuff. I'll make maybe one more. And I'll kind of rotate it a little bit more. And I'll make it smaller so it looks like it's in the distance. So there's kind of a bat there. And that looks pretty good. You just want to kind of make the text stand out. You don't want to overpower everything, but that looks pretty neat. I think it looks okay. And what else can you throw in there? The other one, the sample one, we had corn stalks, we had trees, we had all this kind of stuff. We had a witch there with a cauldron. We won't do that. You have a black cat to use. This one even used an owl. Whatever you can find. I'm going to go find one of these little tree things because that might help our forest a little bit. And just change this to like tree, spooky tree or something. You might find more Halloween type trees like that. That might work out a little bit better. We use something like this. Now this might actually be a ping file, which is okay. But let me try this. I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to right click and say copy image. Now when you put it in there, it's probably going to be transparent already, and you're going to be like, well, why don't I just use that? But you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that everything's vector in here. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back here. Now before I do anything here, before I even paste, now I'm starting to get a mess here of stuff, of different things, and I can't organize everything here, but what I'll do is I'll make a folder, and wherever that is, and I'll call it graphics. And this is all my clip art graphics, and I'll just call it graphics. And all of these things, because these are all bats and stuff, I'm just going to drag them in here. Now I could rename all these paths bats so I know they're bats, but I'm not going to do that. I could always just click in my graphics things and kind of find things. So even this group here, let me check this group. What is this group? Oh, that's the witch. I guess I could name that witch just so I know that. And I'll throw my witch in here. And that way all my graphics will be in here. Even moon. I'll throw moon in here. That way all my graphics are in here. And, you know, I could go in here and see there's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. But at least they're in a folder and I can kind of close it up. But I want to work in this folder here. I want to make sure I'm in it when I'm working on it. And just click on a layer when you draw something else. Now somehow the moon got in front of the witch, so we got to move the moon behind the witch. And now I'm going to do a paste, a Command V or Control V. Now what we can do here, we'll try this again. We're going to do that Vectorize. And you can see it's called image right here. It's an image right now. We're going to go modify path, and we're going to say Vectorize image. And now I'm going to use a different image. It came in with that gray, it came in with that checkerboard image, and that's going to create a problem. So actually, let me make sure it's black and white. Let me find one that's a spooky tree that's black and white. How about this one? That looks spooky. There's a spooky tree. Let's try this one. We'll copy image, just try that again, and we'll paste it, and we'll do modify, path, vectorize image. See how that works. And there it is. Now it's still coming up with some weird stuff around it. All that little stuff around it. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Now let me look at the outline view, because it looks like it traded. Whoa, that's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on there, why it had such a hard time doing it. Maybe because it's like low resolution or something. Let me move this thing over here off the page. I don't want to mess with any of this stuff. I don't know what it's picking up, but it's picking up some artifacts here. I did this in the CSE 103 class, and we had no problem with this. And of course, I'm doing this for this class, and it's for some reason I'm having issues with everyone I brought in. But what I'm going to do here is what is all this? I don't know what's going on here. This is odd. But let me see if I can move this again. I'll move this over here because that looks fine. It's just there's all these artifacts over here. It looks like it's trying to get the background. See, that's the only problem with Autotrace. That's why I teach you to trace things, because dealing with Autotrace sometimes can be an issue. But there's all this stuff over here, and I'm just going to highlight all this stuff. Now, you got to watch. The only problem is it may still be together with that other one. So you see if I click here and I hit delete, it's going to delete everything. So I don't want to do that. What you want to do is always get your direct selection tool or your sub-select tool, and then just highlight this stuff over here and get rid of all of that stuff separately. I'm just deleting all that. And it took a while to delete. There's a bunch of extra stuff there, so I'll make sure there's nothing else there. And this is just some of the things that happen with Autotrace. Autotrace is easy, except you have some issues like that because it doesn't know exactly what you want. So this thing looks okay. It looks like a decent piece of vector artwork, so I'll use that, and I'll call it, wherever it's selected here, I'll just call it tree or spooky tree, and I'll just kind of move it down here. Now, one thing just to point out, if you wanted this cropped off, you can actually do this, and that's why you'd want to make sure it's vector art. I'm doing this off to the side right now, but if I took a rectangle and I just went like that and did something like that, and then I highlighted both of them, I could do I'm pretty sure I can do a subtract and crop it. Now I have this cropped piece here, and I could even make it permanent. And now I have a cropped piece. And that way I can put it right up against the edge of my border. Let me zoom in over here. Now I could put this tree right here because I kind of pre-cropped it. And I could even put it down here as close to the bottom as I can. And that looks pretty good. And now, unfortunately, I cropped it. Now, if I bring in another one, I should have copied it first, but that looks okay like that. I'll see if I could bring in my black cat, and I'll just copy it. I'll just do a Command C. Now, I won't have a problem copying and pasting this. And I'll paste my cat. Now it's gigantic, and I'll just make it small, and I'll bring it down here, and I'll put him down at the bottom, or her. Now, I'd have to bring Boo on top, because the Boo thing is a problem here. So I might want to put Boo right on the cat. So I'd have to go find Boo and kind of bring it up. But I won't worry about that right now. I'll do that later, but I'll move the cat over here. That's the only issue. So I'll bring the cat over to the side a little bit. But it might be nice to put Boo right across the cat. I just have to go find Boo. So that means I'd have to close up my graphics. What is compound shape? This is, oh, that's my cat. So I'm going to throw my cat. I'll call it cat, and I'll throw it in my graphics. Drag it right on top of my graphics folder. And if I go in text, let's see if I could find Boo. There's Boo. And I'll unlock Boo. Well, I actually have to unlock all my text. I'll find Boo, and I'll drag Boo up and into my graphics layer. And now Boo's on top. That wasn't that hard. I'll put Boo on top of the cat. And maybe I'll make Boo a little bit smaller. Now, again, if you want to scale your text, hit this transform button, and then it's very easy to just kind of go in the corner here and scale that little text box. If you just want to put Boo right there. So that looks a little bit better. So that looks okay, I think. We don't have a lot of stuff here. Some people did zombie stuff, so if you want to go find zombie silhouette, I like to find just one and then kind of work with it. Here's a zombie here. And again, I'll copy this. And I'll go back here and I'll paste. I'll do Command V or Control V. And there's my zombie. And I'll bring it off to the side. And I'll do Modify, Path, Vectorize. And I'll grab my zombie. And I don't know what's going on with my vector stuff. Like I said, I did this in another class and it was real easy. And here it seems to be causing a problem. So I don't know if I have some setting that's a little off with this or not. But I mean, there's all these I think there are anchor points in there. It's kind of doing something. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I'll just undo and delete my image. Again, I didn't expect that. I thought this would be the fun part. This would be really cool to find a zombie. I don't know why some of this is a problem here. Let's try this one. I'll copy image and I'll just paste it. And again, I'll try Modify, Path, Vectorize Image. And that seemed to work out okay. And then if I grab the middle part, now you might think, well, what happened here? It's not separating. This is what I dealt with in the other class. The white and the black is together here, and actually the easiest thing to do was to take the sub-select tool and just kind of click on the white part and hit delete. And that's all it took. And if there's any extra white parts, you could click on it and delete it. But now we just have this guy here, and he's kind of grouped, but that's okay. I'll call him zombie. just so I know where the zombie is. And obviously you're getting tons of stuff down here, so it's hard to keep track of it. But if you want to put a little zombie down here, you could put a zombie right on the path. How cool is that? And then you could put a zombie at the end of the path or something. And you could try different things. You could try corn stalks, all that. See what happens with this. Like I said, this is the first, other than in the Intro to Computing class, first time I ever tried the Autotrace. And we do this sometimes in Illustrator too, and we have similar results. There's just as many problems in Illustrator, so don't think that it's just Gravit that you have these issues. Autotrace is always introduces all kinds of issues because it's trying to, you know, trace a piece of artwork automatically. So I'm going to just put some zombies on the path here like that to make them look like they're going in a distance or whatever. So, you know, that's probably, you know, good. You could throw some bats or whatever in here. Maybe I'll throw one more bat down here. I'll just copy this one just to kind of fill up that area a little bit. I don't want it to look too much like the other bats, so I'll try to scale its size a little so it doesn't look exactly like I just copied one. But that's not too bad. I mean, considering we had that, you know, it's a Halloween flyer. I'm sure you've been in the building and seen a lot worse flyers than this one in the school, so that's not too bad. But we're throwing in a lot of different things here. We have text, we have auto trace, we're building things, these hills here we're using the freehand tool, we're tracing our own stuff, we're doing all kinds of stuff here, we're doing multiple outlines, we're adding a lot here. So there's a lot going on here with this particular exercise. It's more of a project than an exercise, but you're getting an opportunity to do lots of stuff. And if it's confusing, that's okay. And because it's a Halloween flyer, it's not any, you know, you could have fun with it. It could be a little messed up and stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. The Halloween stuff is, you know, is meant to be kind of playful, so it doesn't have to be real business-like or anything like that. But if I have any more videos or if I have any more tips with some of this tracing stuff, I'll experiment a little bit more and see if there's any issue that'll help. It seems like it just depends on the image, and the cleanest black and white one you could find seems to work better. If there's any gray in it or there's any kind of background kind of stuff, it seems to just give a little more problem. And again, the tip is when you're dealing with that stuff, after you do the Vectorize, is take your sub-select tool and get rid of the white stuff and just keep the black and white like we did with the witch and stuff like that. But now you can see why it's better to trace stuff. If you know, we didn't have any problem with the bat and the cat other than just putting boo in front. And I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to stop here. And you could certainly save this as a PDF and save it the way it is. I haven't saved for a while, so I should save this. And what you're going to do when you're done is you're going to go back to coursework in my Warren. It's going really slow right now. And this is under Unit 8. And you're going to click on this link, which is the assignment link, and you're going to add a comment. Now, I didn't copy it yet, but I could go in here and open it up. And I'll just go back here. And again, I saved, so it's gray right now. So I'm going to go to Share, and I'm going to copy the link. And be careful not to copy the link manually out here, because when people have problems with links, I notice they're short. And it's like, well, it needs to be longer. So it's a long link here. So if you just use this button, you should be fine. Then when you go back here, you're going to insert a link and choose New Window. Always do that. That makes life a lot easier. It's hard to go back when you get into Gravit and with my Warren. And then hit OK. And then hit Save. And then one more thing I want you to do. Now, we did this on the other one. But I also want you to do this, because I think it'll look cool. It'll be neat to see it like this, since it's 8.5 by 11, is make sure that when you're done with it here, you're going to want to save it as a PDF as well. I think it'll be cool to look at a whole PDF. Now, I tried this before, and you can't have any of these things turned off, so make sure they're all on, because I was thinking it'd be nice to turn off our sample flyer, but just make sure these are all on. I guess you could even unlock all of them if you want. I don't think the lock will create a problem, but I think if you have one turned off, it has a problem making the PDF. So, because it was saying infinite canvas. So anyway, what you want to do, we'll see how that works being locked right now. I don't think that'll be a problem. But we're going to go File, and we're going to Export, PDF, and we're going to choose 150. And it should just export it like that. And it's going to go into your downloads. And it'll take a little longer because this is a bigger file. We have a lot of anchor points, a lot of objects. We have images that we pasted in there. We have shadows. We have all kinds of things, glows, text, all kinds of things going on. So it'll be a bigger file, and then you'll have that PDF. And then what you'll do, it should be in your downloads right now. And then when you go back to My Warren, add a second comment, and we're actually going to go here and choose a file, Insert File. So click here, Insert File, and you have to hit Upload. and I'm going to go to downloads, and I'm going to find this thing, whatever it's called, 910 it's called. Anyway, I guess at the bottom, here it has at the bottom. So here it is, here's my, let me do this one. I think this is the most recent one. But I'll hit open, and then I'll hit insert, and this takes a little while. This is going to be a bigger file, and I'll say insert, and there it is. Now, another thing I want you to do is click on it again. Even though it's there, click on it again, and go in the link thing, and just make sure you choose new window here. Make sure you do that. It'll just make life a lot easier. And I'll hit OK. So again, we're going to use this thing, not the image, not the link. We're going to use the insert file. So we went through there to go find it from your downloads. And when the link's here, you just click anywhere in it, go to here, make sure you choose new window and hit OK, and then you hit save. And then you would have your second comment. And when you click here, we should see the PDF. So we'll see how this looks. There's your bat, there's your cat, there's the previous one, and there's the one you just did. And it looked like it had an issue with the font. Font didn't translate well, so I'll have to check that out. But it's good to know. We don't know these things until we do it, but it looks like it didn't do the Open Sans bold. Looks like it had a little issue translating the font because we kind of used a web font. So might have to check that out and fix that if we can, but you know, that's why we do this. But anyway, I get to see your PDF, I get to see your link, and you have a lot to do, so you certainly have a lot to do before you worry about the PDF. So that's all you have to do. That's your assignment 910. That should take you a little while. I don't think you'll just do that in a half hour or maybe one night or something. If you break it up over a couple nights, you do something different each night, and you work on it a little bit, that's okay. It's meant to be a bigger kind of project here to kind of put a lot of things together. So anyway, that's our Honda Trail Flyer. That's exercise 910. Hope you have fun with it.